All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hotel Orloff. It is it is November 17th, 2024, in the year of our Lord. Once again, I'm your host, Dr. Orloff. It is um, Sunday night in America. I meant to go on earlier, but things happened. Um, well, a few things I need to talk about. First of all, um, the question may be, how did you, Dr. Orloff, come to be involved in the Hypnotic Eye television program back in the 1990s, the public access show? Can you guys hear me, by the way? I don't know if the sound audible. Here's the link to come on if you so desire. 4 people watching. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm audible or not. I was having trouble with the sound earlier. Sound is fine, says Friar Trek from Sherwood Forest. Okay, so one day back in the early to mid 1990s, a friend of mine named Mark Ridlin, who was a local musician in Dallas and DJ, got in touch with me and said, "Hey, there's this toy collector here locally. It's about our age, and he's selling toys from the 60s and 70s and 80s. This was in the 90s. And he's got his whole house is filled with antiques, and it's with no, they're not antiques, but old toys. And he's selling a lot of it. And he's also a Godzilla fan and a big fan of Japanese monsters and stuff, and a big rock and roll fan, big fan of Kiss and all this. So I met this guy. His name was Eddie Holland. He also went by Edzilla. And yeah, he had everything from Mego to he had everything. But what was most fascinating about him is the Japanese culture aspect of what he was collecting. He was really into a Japanese TV series called Kamen Rider, which translates to Masked Rider here in the United States. And it was about these cyborg uh, motorcycle guys that looked like crickets, right? And there had been multiple, what they do in Japan is the series only run one season, and then the next year they revamp it, and so there's a new Kamen Rider the next year, and then the next year there's a new Kamen Rider, and then eventually they all meet up in some big adventure, and they're like the Justice League, and they that was Toei Toei Studios that did the Kamen Rider and TV shows, and then um, there was another studio that did Ultraman, and Ultraman was very similar in that they have a different Ultraman every year, different Ultraman series, and then they would all team up, and that was Subaraya, right? I believe Subaraya. Anyway, during the 1970s, when I was a kid, I didn't really think much of Kiss, but then, by the 1990s, I was appreciating how amazing they were. And this guy was the biggest fan and had all these concert tapes, VHS tapes of Kiss and rare stuff, but he also had all these Japanese TV shows that he'd been trading with people in Japan. Amazing stuff with all the original Japanese commercials, and I was borrowing them from him and trading and getting all these Japanese shows into my collection, and buying toys from him, right? So um, he did a public access show in Dallas called Monster Attack Team, and he had a co-host for most of the episodes who later dropped out, and then it was just him. But it was a show they did on Dallas Public Access about Japanese monster and superhero live action shows. Now, one of those shows called Zoo Ranger was brought over to the United States, sort of, by Saban Entertainment, and they kept the fight scenes, and then everything else where the heroes were didn't have their helmets on. I've got bedhead here. Been lying in bed all day watching David Wilcock. Um, One of those shows that was brought over to Saturday morning, and they called it Power Rangers. And whenever they took their helmets off, they were Japanese actors, so they refilmed the scenes with horrible actors, and horrible. It was horrible, but the fight scenes that were in there is they cut them for violence, but was still astounding to kids back in the 90s, and Power Rangers became this huge hit that may still be on the air. I don't know. But because that was another series called that they called Sentai shows. Sentai means 5-man team. So there'd be a 5-man team, and they'd be different, have different color suits, and the one that they brought to the United States first was the dinosaur themed show, Zoo Ranger. But then they have other ranger shows, and every year it would be a different team. And then they started bringing the other ones over to the States. Anyway, I was fascinated by all that. But his co-host on Monster Attack Team was a guy named Joe Riley, who turned out to be this incredible special effects guy, sculptor, painter. He could do anything. He made props and masks for the Subgenius videos. He was really good friends with the guy that founded the Subgenius uh, parody church. Ivan Stang, and so I met his. Now, right about this time, Joe Riley and Eddie Holland had a falling out, and they weren't friends anymore. In fact, yeah, not at all. And so I was still friends with both of them, and so I was doing a magazine at the time called The Sophisticate, which was a pop culture magazine, but it was dedicated to, well, it's basically like the show I do now. It was dedicated to exploitation films um, and monsters and comic books, just mid-century stuff. And it was like a combination of the National Lampoon and Mad Magazine and Famous Monsters and um, maybe some old a lot of pictures of Julie Newmar and stuff about, you know, jungle movies, and lots of pictures of Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, that kind of thing. It was just everything that I loved was in this magazine called The Sophisticate that I put out. And Joe Riley said, you know, your magazine, I want to make a video version of it at the Dallas. They had, back then, there was no internet. So you had public access television. So he started a show called The Hypnotic Eye, and he made this amazing puppet, a Cyclops puppet, and he called him Icon, and he was the host of the show. And he did the first, and I lent him tons of VHS tapes to use to, and he had tons in his own collection, and it was an amazing first episode. The second episode, I went with him to the public access studio, and I said, okay, that was the episode called it was called the multicultural episode. And I told him, okay, put this here. And I didn't know how to manipulate the machinery, but I just brought a big, several grocery bags filled with VHS tapes, and I said, "Okay, this is the way I envision this episode. Since you want to make this show based on my magazine," and so I basically directed that episode, and everything in there came from my collection. I just said, "Okay, cut it here," and he did everything. And then the subsequent episodes, I was involved with some of the episodes as the voice of Donny Osmond marionette puppet, and and I was involved in the shooting. To a certain point, then there was. Then Joe Riley and I kind of had a falling. He seemed to have a falling out with it, and it wasn't anything. He just stopped calling, and it's kind of what he would just. He was this bigger than life character that would just get, for a while. He'd just get fed up with people, and sometimes you didn't even really know why. And and that's probably what happened with his previous video partner on that Monster Attack Team show. So anyway, the later episodes of Hypnotic Eye were great, but I didn't have anything to do with them. But you can kind of tell I had something to do with them if it says my name, Kenneth Weinert, on the episodes. And you can see those episodes. I think someone's put them back on YouTube. For a while they were taken down from YouTube for copyright reasons, but they're on Roku. There's a bunch of Roku channels that run the Hypnotic Eye, and I don't know, they're on Internet Archive everywhere. And but then years pass, and Joe Riley contacts me, befriends me on MySpace, and I don't know if he even realized who I was. It's just I had a Rat Fink looking picture, and he had a Rat Fink looking Big Daddy Roth picture, and he sent me a friend request or whatever you call it on MySpace. I forgot. And I said, "Hey, it's me." And it's like we were getting along really great, talking on the video chat there, and not video, but the text messaging. And I said, "Oh, there's a Universal Monsters convention in Grand Prairie in Texas. Like in a couple of weeks, let's go together." And so it's like all of a sudden we were friends again. And the next morning, I get a phone call that Joe Riley had died the night before. So he passed away. Um, um, this would have been in the early, yeah, I don't really know. When was MySpace around? 2006, seven? I don't really remember. But anyway, I could have been the last person that talked or didn't talk. I chatted with the computer with them. So that was a kick in the guts. But anyway, the guy that contacted me with Eddie Holland to begin with that said, "Hey, this is a toy collector." And through this toy collector that I became friends with, I met Joe Riley, who was also a toy collector, but and all that. Um, so that was one of the coolest things that happened in the '90s was meeting those guys. But Mark Ridlin, this guy that got us all in touch, was someone that was always around. He was a DJ in Dallas. He did the karaoke at all these clubs. He called it Scarioke. He did tiki bar nights. He was a DJ that knew all the great music. He um I remember he DJ'd at my friend Ryan's wedding. Just always around. Well, anyway, he passed away today. Mark Ridlin. He was in a lot of bands. Apparently, Um, he had developed cancer and was on dialysis. And anyway, he passed away. My wife told me that some of my old friends were talking about it on Facebook, and I looked and saw, yeah, he was in a band called Lithium Christmas. Oh man, there's so many stories I could tell you about Mark Ridlin. But anyway, he passed away, and it's weird because I was just asking Zork the other day, who's also from the Dallas area, if he ever met Mark Ridlin. It was just a few days ago. I was talking about Mark Ridlin, and he said that he never met him but knew of him. It's really difficult to miss this light here. And so anyway, and I was just seeing that I'm moving all this stuff. I've been taking the attic and turning into this comic book room, and I just found this flyer. Um, Look at this, for his band Lithium Christmas. with L7 at the Sugar Shack. And no, well, it was at a it was at a bar called Trees. I guess Sugar Shack might have been a band, but I think there was, yeah, anyway. Lithium Christmas was his band. L7 was a great girl band. Let's see. My wife says, "Sorry about your friend. I'm glad I got to meet him. Very nice and warm guy. I really appreciate what he said to me." Yeah, he came. We were at a concert, and he came to my wife, and apparently, I didn't see it, but he like he like touched both sides of her face and said, I'm so glad that he wound up with you and not." Well, I don't want to get into. He really approved of Cleo and everything of. And the fact that we got married and everything. Anyway, he's a great guy. Someone's in the private chat. Oh, it's Zork. Oh my goodness. And then she says, "Wow, what a coincidence to find it now. Synchronicities." Yeah, I just found that flyer a couple of days ago, and I was just talking to Zork, who's apparently right here, waiting to get in the stage. Hello, Zork. What's going on?
Good evening.
Hello there. Yeah, remember we were talking about Mark Ridland the other night, and it turned out he
I do.
passed.
Yeah, Lithium Christmas. That the singer for that band was Kim Pendleton, who is a
Yeah.
very close friend of mine, who went on to sing for Vibrolux.
Was Sugar Shack a band? Because that's
Yeah, I think so. Because I mean, Trees. That was the main. Outside of
right.
Club Dada, Trees was probably the biggest, most famous club on the strip
Well,
down in
Sugar
Butone.
Shack, what confuses me is that Sugar Shack was a club or bar in Houston, but I think it's also a band. And of course, it's also a great song from the 60s, which I guess is why everyone uses that name.
Yeah, it's
But,
it's it's sad. There's been a lot of people from the '80s, '90s Dallas art scene, Dallas Fort Worth art scene, which, by the way, back from the late 80s to the late 90s, the Dallas Fort Worth art scene was way better than anything else in the country. It was the best kept secret. It's a
yeah,
shame, but it's just, everybody's getting old, really old.
but you know what, one thing, yeah, that because that's in everybody's memory. But what's interesting about the 60s is Fort Worth had some of the greatest the teen scene in Fort Worth was far better than Dallas. And there's a documentary called Teen a Go Go about the Fort Worth garage rock scene in the 60s. It may be on YouTube.
13th floor elevators out of Houston. Kenny
Yeah,
Rogers was their lead singer for 3.5 weeks.
Rocky Erickson was great. He was a friend of mine, and but that poor Rocky Erickson, man, he was gone. Everyone in the entire neighborhood wasn't getting mail. It turned out he was just taking everyone's mail and just stacking it up in his living room. It's just like he had completely lost his mind. And there was a documentary we watched about him where he had all these TVs and radios on different channels at the same time. My wife was comparing me to him because when I first met Cleo, I would have everything on. I would have the
Well, sure,
radio on.
it fills the
As I
house. It makes it feel full. Yeah.
well, yeah, but not. It drove her crazy. But it was the way I was. When I was a bachelor. It's yeah, it kind of was. Especially during the summer when I wasn't working. It was the way that I made me feel like there were people around me. Yeah, exactly. Um, so, well. Um, I guess we see why Biden was smiling the other day when they were talking at the.
Yeah, Trump needs to green light a bag team right now to go get him.
Well, that's just. Uh, I think he was smiling because he knew that the people in charge of him were about to tell him to greenlight the Ukrainians into using United States or NATO, whatever, United States missiles to shoot into Russia,
Yeah,
which
that's an
means
act of war, and
Putin has
yeah,
already said that that will be the beginning. And so, what they're trying to do, and whether it'll happen, is because I think Putin's smart enough to realize what they're doing. They're trying to make things because they know Trump's going to stop it as soon as they want to make it where he can't stop it. It gets to the point where it's
I
too
I
messy
would
and you can't
advise
just tell
Trump.
it.
I would advise Trump right now, this very minute, to authorize not only a bag team but a joint bag team with Russian Spetsnaz, Russian special forces. Split the team in half, half American, half Russian. Let them go in there and get them, put bags on their heads, zip cuff them, take them to
Well,
Guantanamo. And since we're in the transition of power period, they can just put them on ice for 6 weeks. Nobody will miss them. And then after Trump does the inauguration ceremony, then he can announce what happened and why it had to happen. But no, these
yeah,
people
I
are
don't know.
insane. They're about to kill us all. We need, we need
I
we
need
need
to.
joint special operations operators to go in there and get them right now
Well,
today.
I don't know. I mean, everything's going really, really well. There's not, but I just don't know. It looks like if they start sending missiles in that say "Made in the USA," it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that all works out.
Now, the sitting Biden administration, which achieved its aims by a coup to begin with, is a clear and present danger. They are about to, you know, they're about to initiate World War III. They have to be taken out of the picture completely.
Well, yeah. So that's how you took it too. I saw those. Of course,
Oh
it's not
yeah,
even really a headline on most. It's mostly the headlines have to do with the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, which is
ridiculous. Yeah,
far more important news.
yeah. Let's put a 60-year-old man up against a guy in his late 20s. Like, what is that? That's ridiculous.
Well,
Arse.
that guy, I don't know anything about this YouTube, young YouTube culture. I knew Logan Paul, and I knew he was some teen. Well, years ago, I never heard of him, but I heard all the. Apparently, he was some teeny bopper idol. Like little kids
Well,
loved
all
Logan Paul, and then I guess he's got this brother. I guess he's the main guy. Jake Paul must be his brother. Jake Paul looks like real sleazy guy with all. It looks like he has prison tattoos, and he just looks like a
Oh, he's a
wild
wimp.
man.
The guy can't fight anybody his own age. He has to fight an old man. What a
Well, I know,
cowardly
I
wimp
know that,
move.
I know that, but it's like I wish he'd not bitten into that guy Jake Paul's ear. But no, it was just ridiculous, and
Yeah, it just
it's just
broadcasted the world that he's not capable of taking on one of his peers. He has to go find somebody that's way out of their prime in order to fight because he's such a wimp. He can't fight anyone his own age.
yeah. Like my wife says, sorry to get off subject, Gruts, but I just wanted to let you know our shift was cut short and there will be no work tomorrow. That would be that would be dreamy, Zork. Oh, so my wife is not working. I started because she was starting to work, and now she's not working. So, yeah, I just mainly went on to do this stream to talk about Mark Ridlin, and I and
Yeah,
I was.
rest in peace, Mr. Ridlin. It's a shame.
Oh, he was such a neat guy, man. He really was, and so really the hypnotic eye might exist in some form. I'm sure it would if I wasn't in the picture, but he made the show to kind of resemble a magazine that I put out, and which I might be able to actually find because what I. Oh no, Drew, no, you can't. Oh man, Drew's pulling 45 RPM records out of this box. That is not good, man. Oh, well, oh, you know what? This is how she tells me she's hungry. It's time for her dinner. She's pulling these out of this box. Damn, man. What kind of barbarian would do that? Shit. Yeah, copies of the Sophisticate are in one of these boxes here. I don't know where.
Wonderful name, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I have all these. These are all my magazines, and And then and they go around here, and then down here I'm up in
You're
the attic.
you're an artist of the old Dallas school.
And then these are comic books, and those are Bronze Age. And Silver Age is more Silver Age over here. But this is basically the extent of everything. I need to go probably feed her, man. Uh,
Well, I really do hope that Trump has called Putin and said, "Listen, we're gonna remove these guys. They're acting
well,
extrajudiciously. They're putting the entire world at risk. We're only 6 or 7 weeks out from officially having power. Something's got to be done. I'm gonna send
yeah, I
my
don't
guys
think
in, and
that's
if you would like to fly some of your guys over, put them on a jet now. We'll do this in like
uh,
12, 15 hours, something like that."
well, I don't. I kind of don't think that's going to happen. It's just basically what's going to probably happen is just Putin's going to have to be have awareness of what's happening. I guess I can't.
I think the stronger move, though, would be to do a joint task force arrest for violations of international law and just do it now. And
An
you don't have
arrest,
to announce it. The public is stupid. Everybody knows that. They,
yeah, but the
they just
public
will
would
disappear.
never,
Nobody
they
will
would
think about
never
it.
understand. No, that would look like they would call that a coup d'état, and that's the way it would be in the history books. And they would
No,
just
absolutely
crazy.
not. They've broken international law. These people are guilty, and the election has already happened. It's clear that they're trying to. They know that they're going down. These people are going to be arrested, and they know it.
Yeah.
And they're egotists of the extreme order, and they want to take us all with them. And
Oh,
that's clearly what they're
shit.
doing. I think there would be I think the Hague Convention would support a joint task force to remove them after what they've done today.
Almost slipped on the stairs, man. That would have been a great.
That would have been a hell of a way to end it.
The can, the can flew out of my hands, and it hit this Young Frankenstein poster from the '70s. But I don't see where it hit it. It's already in bad condition. But man, yeah, I'm wearing these stupid slippers, and I almost I almost bought it, Cleo. I almost fell right here. Be careful. Come here, Drew. Come on. I'm My gonna. Cat, I think, is hungry too. Well, I've just fed the cat. Oh, okay, good, good. No, I don't hear him anymore. And I was stuck working, but now I'm good. Well, this is the can. I'll give it to her. Okay. You go ahead. Well, yeah. Oh my God. I almost fell. That was fucked up, man. Um. Goddamn.
Oh, did
Uh.
did you guys get your sleeping quarters squared away? Is it suitable?
Oh yeah. Let me. I guess I can give you guys a tour real quick. Just
Oh, you don't have to. I
no,
just was
no,
wondering if it was working
no,
out.
it's because people, if they watched that live stream yesterday, they might have some. This is the room where I used to have the comics, and now there's two beds, and
Mhm.
oh, that's where my drink went. I set it down over here. Man. Shit, I've been looking for that. Anyway, so and I've got the TV here, and so this is how things are now, and
Oh,
then
that's cool. You got the beds that you can help you sit up in bed,
yeah,
watch
yeah,
TV.
that's yeah. And then and here there's this is where I had the beds and this is the living room, but now there's nothing here. I we don't have any furniture. We need to get some couches and then maybe put a TV here or something.
Was that the living room or is it a dining area? It seems to be off the.
Oh no, well this is it's a living room. I don't know how well this comes across. There's a kitchen in
I mean, you can,
there, and
yeah, you can use it for whatever you want. Clearly.
so this is a bedroom here that I mainly have stereo stuff and old radios and stuff and some books.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Um, I am currently redoing my hi-fi
Oh yeah,
and well on the speaker side, and I found he's from North Texas. He went to North Texas University, and he's it's called GNR Research.
yeah.
He's about I think he's about your age, fantastic guy, old school Texas guy, and he's just absolutely brilliant. And there's a YouTube channel for him, and he sells high end audiophile kit speakers. So like you can spend like between $300 and $1,500 on a speaker, and you put it together yourself, and it has all the instructions. He's designed all this stuff, and he's just an audio engineer extraordinaire. And basically, you can end up getting like an $8,000 speaker for $1,500, or $1,000 speaker for $350 if you do it this way.
Well, yeah, I'm not. We're not doing that well financially, but um, you know,
But for
Elon
later, I
Musk is
guess.
talking. They're talking about doing away with the IRS and things
Yeah,
like that.
the repeal of the Chevron ruling in '86 has paved the way for that. They can definitely do it.
So, yeah, there's a place in. I could tell you the exact. Well, I could find out where it's at. My friend works there on and repairs stereos. It's like in Euless, but they call it Dallas Vintage Stereo, I think.
Oh,
And
good.
it's they sell they refurbish old stereo consoles and old stereos and sell them. And my friend works on those and on
Would you
recapping them.
mind?
And
Would you mind shooting me an email, because I have a vintage Marantz from I think it's '79 is their first digital, uh, and I want to have it repaired. It's lost the ability to store memory, like the presets for radio stations,
oh,
and I can't find
well,
anybody who can
I,
fix it.
I I forget that you're not in the Dallas area anymore.
Well,
Um,
I can ship it. It's not a problem.
well, I would just maybe use my friend instead of and cut out the middleman because he works for them. Like you take your stereo in there, you don't really they farm it out to him, and he takes it down to Granbury and works on it, and then brings it back. But you could just send it directly to him and cut out the middleman. Yeah, he
I'd
knows
love
how
to.
to fix anything: old TVs, old jukeboxes, old stereos, and then yeah,
Please shoot me
back before
his
I met
contact
Cleo,
info.
I ran into these people. He was one of them, and there was this other guy that collected old jukeboxes and things, and he had this. I'd never heard of this brand of stereo called Macintosh. Now the Crypt Keeper of Castle Hills in San Antonio has one of these, but a more recent one. But they still make. I think they still make tube based amps and stuff from this company called Macintosh. They're
Yeah,
very
Macintosh is
expensive.
incredibly high end.
Yeah, yeah, and he had a Macintosh, but it was like from the early 60s or maybe it was from the 50s, so it was even better than what they make now. And he had these giant speakers from what were they called, man? They were called concert. What were they called concert? I
Yeah,
forget the
I'm very
brand.
familiar with the old Macintosh. Like still produce receivers and stuff, and they have always been at the very pinnacle of high
Well,
end audio.
he was able to put on like a 45 RPM rockabilly record from the 50s, and you put it on like a regular turntable, regular stereo, it sounds like an old. You put it on there, it sounds like the band is right there in front of you.
Yeah,
And then he says, "Listen here," and you hear this sound in the background. So that's the compressor on like the Dr. Pepper machine kicking on while they're recording this thing, and
yep.
you're hearing all these sounds that you never would have heard. It was phenomenal.
You've got to check out this guy at GNR Research when you get a chance, and just
Okay,
type it into YouTube.
GNR research. Okay,
G and R, yeah. Uh, uh,
um, I'm worried about Kevin here at Gotham City Comics. He said, "Hello, I'm moving stuff too. Not as much fun with one arm." Yeah,
oh
he hurt
no,
one arm and he's moving stuff. Why do you? Why don't you rest, man? You need to rest over the next 2 days. By the way, Kevin, did I ask you to? Did I get the big Treasury edition of Batman? The limited the facsimile of the facsim, with the spotlights behind Batman. Did I get that? I can't even remember if I remembered to mention that one. But anyway, you would know. It's the big Batman rep facsimile. Yeah, he was moving, and I know he said he's moving. He got an old comic book rack from the 50s that would have originally said Dell comics are good comics. Someone had
Oh, wow.
repainted it, but if someone could strip that paint, that might still be visible underneath. Or or if you could repaint it to the from a photograph of the original, just the big wooden rack from a store. So he has it in his garage. I think he said he was going to move it in because I think he moved some stuff to his store. So I think he like this creep show ticket booth, which is the downfall of his arm. I think. Uh, oh, it's here, but you didn't get it this round. Oh, okay. I completely forgot I had a list and I couldn't find the list. Y'all get it next round.
Sorry to hear about your arm, Kevin. That sucks.
Yeah,
I wish you had a helper that could
he
assist.
did. He does have a helper. I don't think every day, but on weekends he's got a guy that comes in. But yeah, the only thing that he lucked out is it's his left arm and not his right because he's right-handed.
Yeah.
But still, having one arm.
That stuff just starts happening to you when you get older. Still lift weights 6 days a week, and about 3.5 weeks ago, I was doing a dumbbell curl, something real simple, and I just stressed a muscle in my arm for no reason. Like it's something that I've done all my life, have never had a problem, and it stressed the muscle so badly that I couldn't work out for like 2 weeks. I couldn't really use the arm very well. It's weird.
Oh, he says it's here. I wonder if that means he's at his store right now. He might be at his store. He's not open today or tomorrow, but sometimes he's there at his store. The fact that he says it's here makes me think he's at his store. Oh boy, yeah. Well,
Hope you get to feeling better soon, Kevin.
yeah. Just this is. I got to get this displayed somehow. This is just fantastic. I don't know if you know what this. It's a
I'm not
parody of a.
familiar.
It's a parody of a 1950s comic book, EC comic line. There was a crime suspense stories, or where this guy has just beheaded his wife, and so they made it look like a Disney comic. It's the back cover of some horrible looking cheap ass Canadian comic, but the back cover is what's great.
Right.
I mean, it's just that's how you display it. Oh boy. So yeah, he was, and I was so sore. In fact, I'm still real sore from moving all of this. Was all of this was done yesterday during a live stream, and I'd done a little bit the day before I went into
A lot.
work, but I moved. These are all long boxes. That's a lot work. But of course, I had an elevator, but still, it's a lot of hauling.
Well,
And
the best thing you can do is to continue to work all those muscle groups. Like keep moving stuff. In another day, you'll start to feel a lot
yeah,
better.
well, yeah, it's just some of like
I mean, don't stress yourself out though.
bending one of my left foot. That's why I think I almost just fell on the stairs, man. I don't know.
I'm just
Shoot.
saying, Dr. Orloff, you've broken the seal. You're on your way to creating over the next year of the body of an Adonis with the brain of a evil doctor.
Oh boy. So yeah, I don't know. So this is that what this has done is it's freed up a lot of closets where I had this stuff. It's freed up a bedroom. It's freed up closets where we can now put clothes. So we can live a little more normal. And the attic it's not a hot attic. It's although I've got to get the air. There's air bubbles in these radiators. The plumber needs to come every year when it starts to get cold and flush that stuff out. So Yeah.
Is
So,
that what the
yeah.
piping is? Is that heat?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It goes into these radiators here.
I see. I never really paid attention what they were attached to before.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've really shown it. Yeah. There's one over here.
It's an interesting heating system. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty primitive.
Well, but
So
it's
there's,
interesting. It's I mean, I think you may be one of the few people in the country that has something like that. That's neat.
yeah, I don't know. So there's four radiators up here. There's another one over here.
Wow. Well,
Um,
it is a shame to hear about Riddlin. I think we've been hearing about a lot of people that were in the art scene in that area of the country. I mean, they let's be honest, they're dropping like flies.
well,
They are.
well, Mark Ridlin was, I didn't know he had all these things going on. I think he just had a kidney taken out, and I guess he had kidney cancer and something. He was on dialysis, and then I think he found out that he had some in his brain, and
That's terrible.
so I think they stopped treatment. People are saying they just seen him at an X show a few days ago, so he was still
Is
going.
X still touring?
I guess maybe it was a couple months ago. I don't know. Someone
Wow.
said they saw him recently. I don't know.
I know they got back together in like the early 2000s, but I thought it was a one off. I guess it's too profitable. They're like,
Well, I mean, what are you going to do in this economy? You gotta.
yeah.
People aren't buying records or well, I mean, they aren't buying. They aren't. People just steal music from the internet, so you've got a tour, I guess, to make money. I don't know.
Actually, vinyl is now outselling any other form of media except, of course, MP3s. Any physical media.
Well, yeah, but I don't know that means that it's selling that much. It's just it's
I think
selling
for
more,
bands,
but
that's their biggest profit center now, outside of live shows. But they have to charge so much for the shows that a lot of people don't go because they don't want to pay $250 to see a band that they used to go see for $6. You know,
yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah,
and then the big name bands, it's even worse. $5,000 VIP packages and all kinds of nonsense. And if you went back 40 years, you could see the same band for $15.
yeah. You just can't go back 40 years. But I'm not really interested in seeing bands that are geriatric. It's not.
Yeah, there's something to be said for letting the past, remain in its own glory. I mean, I understand people they have mortgages, they have family, they have kids, they have grandkids, and they need the money. I get it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it does kind of diminish what once the legacy, I guess you might say.
Uh,
Sometimes it's better to just let the past be the past.
yeah. Um. Let's see if the David Wilcock. I was recording it like with an hour delay because I was recording some Beatles cartoons off Internet Archive
Mm.
because you can't get them any other way. So
Thank God
yeah,
for the archivists.
yeah. Someone had like 16 millimeter prints because it would say, they cut to Ringo saying, "First half of this cartoon is brought to you by," and then it would say, "Insert commercial here." So it was, they had the original 16 millimeter prints, but for they just can't run those. I don't know who owns them now, but they just won't run those cartoons because of the
I
Beatles
got in
music
an
in them.
argument with an older gentleman. This was just a few days ago, actually, and he was railing about how bands used to sound so good. Like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, stuff like that. And I was like, sir, like, are you unaware of the Wrecking Crew? Like,
Oh yeah,
do you not know that those are big band musicians that were playing those songs for them? They were artificial constructs. The Rolling Stones all came from upper middle class to wealthy families. They were not rough, tough guys. They were basically sissies, and they put together a boy band. And then all these guys from the 30s and
Can you still
40s,
hear me?
yeah,
Oh, shit.
all these guys from the 30s and 40s that knew music and music theory and
Can
composition,
I? Oh,
they
shit.
could bang that stuff out in their sleep. And that's why when
Can you
you,
hear me?
you'd buy a record, it sounded so good, but when you went to go see them live, they sucked. Oh, are you there? The Return.
Okay. Oop. I think there's two of me.
There are.
Anyway, I had to switch to a different the downstairs
I was just
Wi-Fi.
I was just going on about the Wrecking Crew and the
Yeah.
big band musicians that recorded the actual music for
Well, I
most
don't
of the
know.
popular 60s bands in their early years.
I'm not sure that the Rolling Stones.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Rolling
I
Stones
know
didn't
everyone
record
used
those
the Wrecking
albums.
Crew, but I'm not. It's not that they weren't playing their instruments. The
Well, the
Wrecking
Rolling
Crew.
Stones they could barely play their instruments. All the stuff in the studio was done by the Wrecking Crew except for the vocals. And that's why when people would go see the Rolling Stones in the late 60s, you know, they could barely play the songs. They sucked because all those
Well,
songs were done by master musicians for them in the studio.
I never heard that about the Rolling Stones. I mean, I figured that they were just really
Same for the Beatles. The Beatles weren't
intoxicated.
that good. They had most of their stuff done for them.
Well, I know the Monkees and a lot of bands like that. Gary Lewis and the Playboys. It was pretty much the Wrecking Crew doing everything.
Yeah.
Um, and the Wrecking Crew is what made those Monkey hits. And I thought Jerry Lewis's son Gary Lewis was. I thought that I loved the sound of that band. But it turns out the Wrecking Crew are really what I love about the '60s.
Yeah.
Because then I realized there's this guitarist named Tommy Tedesco, and everything I've loved growing up was actually him, from the
Mhm.
Bonanza theme to the sound of the Munsters theme. That was him on everything. Everything that I've really loved was this guy, and he's put out solo albums,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Wrecking Crew.
Another one is Bill Frisell, fantastic guitar player,
Okay.
someone that other guitar players know about, but someone that most of the public they have no idea who he is.
There's a documentary about the Wrecking Crew that I think is probably free on YouTube or somewhere. Um, but yeah, Brian Wilson used the Wrecking Crew. I don't. I mean, I know the Beatles could play their instruments,
Sure, they
and the
could
Rolling
play, but they
Stones
couldn't
could
play
too.
that well.
I
I mean, over the
well,
years they played the same songs over and over and over for
well,
so many years that they eventually got good at it. But when they first started, they could barely play.
the Beatles had a lot of practice in really rough conditions in
Yeah,
Germany before they became famous. I
you
think,
bet they were definitely well. That's the deal. Like
but
the Stones were considered the bad boys, and the Beatles were considered the good boys. But it was really the
it was the
opposite.
opposite. It
The
was
Beatles were
exactly the
actually
opposite.
from middle, working class, rough roots, and the Rolling Stones were all rich boys.
Yeah, and we couldn't tell the difference because the British accents to us mean sophistication, but to people in England, they know that the
Oh,
accents, what they mean.
hey,
But
Gratu, I've got to jump down. Something's come
okay,
up. Please
okay,
forgive me. I will be with you all in a little bit. Well, probably not tonight, actually, but soon,
yeah.
very
All right,
soon. Okay, bye for now.
sure. But I always wonder what these things are that come up. It's just like he's getting. I picture he's getting a call from some. I don't know. It's like that. He's like our man Flint. He's getting a call from. I'd say from the president, but obviously the current president would not be. Let's see. Okay, what are people talking about? Robert Presto, the Beatles inspired many other people to get into music and form a band. Gold Key Geezer, I'd have to throw the BS flag on Stones and Beatles concerning the Wrecking Crew. I've never really heard about the Stones and the Beatles utilizing the Wrecking Crew. I, I've never heard that. I know that um, a lot of the really, I know that you've got George Martin. You have to consider him to be a fifth member of the Beatles. On the later records, what he did for the sound was magnificent, and his ideas took it to a whole nother level. But I, I don't think the Beatles and the Rolling Stones um, used the Wrecking Crew. I don't think so. I don't think that's right. The That's more bands like the Monkees, which really weren't a band. It was a sitcom. They were actors hired to be in a sitcom, and they just kind of wanted them to kind of know how to play an instrument so it would look like they were. Um, and Like Gary Lewis and the Playboys, I think a lot of that. The Beach Boys, I know they were pissed off that Brian Wilson was having the Wrecking Crew because they were recording themselves playing the instruments, and some they didn't really like when their their track their recordings were replaced by the Wrecking Crew. But I um, Pet Sounds had the Wrecking Crew. That's right. That's right. But the Beach Boys were also playing on Pet Sounds. It's just that they were added to give it this magnificent sound. That because there's a band that recreates the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, stuff, and in order to recreate the way it sounded on the record, they've got like 40 musicians on the stage. I forget what they're called. You can see them on YouTube. They do a great job recreating the music. Man, I wish I could remember. Um, if you look up the song "The Monkey's Uncle," the band does this great cover of "The Monkey's Uncle," the Beach Boys song for the Disney main theme of that movie, and that Funicello movie. And they've got some girl singing, and anyway, yeah, the Wrecking Crew. They were the unsung heroes of a lot of TV show themes, and but yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think the Beatles and the Rolling Stones had were using the Wrecking Crew. They were all usage. If they sounded bad later in the '60s, it's because they were like on major drugs at the time. Both bands were excellent musicians, especially Brian Jones. Oh yeah, Brian Jones. Yeah, you don't need the Wrecking Crew, and you got Brian Jones and Paul McCartney. Yeah. Big Slim Moody, the Wrecking Crew were based in LA, right? They did not record for British invasion bands. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. You're exactly right. They didn't travel, and the Beatles did record in England. Uh, it was the only thing that the Beatles had was George Martin, and bringing in instruments and orchestras and stuff. Cool Kikis, or watch the Let It Be documentary, and you'll see the musicianship of the Beatles. Yes, I agree. I just I know that. Let's see who's coming in here. Wyatt's Gotham City Comics. Kevin, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Just rearranging the room that had the creep show booth in it.
Oh, you're at the house then. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured you were doing. You moved that and you're moving stuff in, man. You need to be real careful. Um
Yeah, I'm just using the one arm. But
yeah,
I
but
uncovered three giant things that were hanging on my wall that you guys never seen before.
oh well, I'd love to see him if you want to show us.
Okay, first thing is this gigantic
Wow.
poster.
It's signed by Rico Browning. Is that's a Oh, and her too. Is That's a reproduction poster, but is that
Yeah,
correct?
reproduction poster, but I got these signed in person.
Yeah, so even though it's a reproduction, it's got a lot of value with those signatures on it, and they're perfectly placed. That's great. Damn, that's great.
So I'm definitely gonna hang that up.
Sure.
I don't know if I should hang it up the store or here though.
I don't know. I mean, they're both kind of your home.
Yeah, that's my dilemma.
Shoot.
And then the other piece is, hold on, let me move it over. Put it in front of. Actually, on the chair will be good. Everything takes like 3 times as long now.
Yeah. And then as far as then when you move into the bubblegum music of like 69 to 72, there were there was just a few people doing just about every one of those different bands. Okay, what do we got here? That's hilarious how your dog sounds like Shemp Howard. Woo woo or Curly. Oh, utility belt. Batarang. That's great.
Yeah, the frame is gigantic. Sitting on a
Yeah,
chair.
yeah.
And then the last one I uncovered is this wrestling belt, NWA World
Well,
Heavyweight Belt.
was uh was this behind the creep show ticket booth, all these?
They were behind these other racks. They're behind
Oh,
these racks over here.
so you moved them and then uncovered all this stuff.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I haven't seen them for probably over 5 years. I knew they were back there. I just haven't seen them.
Yeah, well, that's great. You got a single story house. I think you were saying everything is single story in Arizona.
They don't really have basements, but they do have 2-story houses.
Okay. And I almost just ate shit on the stairs. I almost, I almost fell backwards and threw this can of dog food flew out of my hands and hit a wall. And it was all live. Man, one of these days, something horrible's gonna happen. Well, how's your arm feeling today?
It didn't hurt that bad. I just not using it.
Yeah.
If I use it,
So
it's sore. But
now the Dell comic book uh,
I tried
rack.
to I tried to move it. It's too heavy for one arm.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
These things I was able to lift with one arm because it's plexiglass. They didn't use real glass on it.
Your friend that helps you at the store, is he ever available on off days to help you move things?
I might not like in my house now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wish I had a kind of an assistant, like a live-in assistant, maybe. Assisted living. That's what I need.
Like a Cato, an Alfred. Uh,
So
well, did you sell any more of the Monster High dolls?
I sold 5 of them altogether so far.
Is
So
I don't
it
know.
doesn't
I
even
was
look like any are gone because it's at 103.
Well, I was talking to you on the phone, not on the show, and so I don't know what they've heard, but I remember you told me the woman drove 3 hours to get to your store to look at the Monster High dolls, and you'd only priced a few of them, so you had to frantically start pricing them because she'd traveled so far. Did she show you the ones she wanted, and then you priced them, or
No, we just started pulling
okay?
them out, and then she
It's
got to see them, and she told me which ones she wanted priced.
okay. Yeah. Was she happy with the prices?
Yeah, she said it was what they sell for,
Yeah,
but she was
because
she was able to look at them in person, and she didn't have to pay for shipping or anything.
Right. Well, the worst, so she was happy. The worst thing is when
Yeah.
you go into a store and things aren't priced and you spend hours and you find all these wonderful things and then you have them priced and they give you ridiculous prices and they don't even know what it is, but they know you want it. And
Yeah.
that's the worst. That happened to me at a store called Remember When in Dallas, which is no longer around, so I can talk about them.
Well,
But
I already know that. Why would I price it higher than what you can order it online for and have it shipped to your door?
well, but see, when I used to go to Remember When, the internet didn't exist. It's so this was in the 80s and early 90s when I went there, and that's where I got my comic book spinner rack for $25. So that was a deal. But the problem is the guy that really knew the pulps and the comic books had passed away. He was this little guy with muscular dystrophy or something. I think he was basically like almost like not as bad as Stephen Hawking, but he was kind of like that. And he was part of the Texas Trio with Buddy Saunders, Lone Star Comics. He had remember they as kids, well, teenagers, they put out this fan made comic book, made like a golden age comic called, I think it was called Star Studded Comics or something like that. It had a big star because they were all Texas artists and writers, and they created their own superheroes. And but anyway, he opened his store, and Buddy Saunders opened his store in Arlington, and anyway, he married this guy in the wheelchair, married this woman. And when he passed away, she inherited the business, and she was running it with a couple of ladies that were like peppermint patty types, and you'd find some great stuff and take it up to them, and then they'd have to get out the price guides because they didn't know what it was worth, but they knew you wanted it because and you spent hours finding it and they had no idea they even had it in the store, and it was so annoying. Uh, because I remember pulling out a Monster Times, right? And that those had very little value at the time in the 80s when I was looking at them. And they still don't have a great deal of value, but I remember the peppermint patty lady was flipping through it. Oh, look, it has Star Trek in it. She's talking to the wife, the widow of the owner. She looked
Mhm.
exactly like Aunt B in the Andy Griffith Show, and she sounded exactly like the same annoying voice, and she says, "Oh, it has Star Trek in it. Oh, we must charge more." There's no Star Trek fan. Most Star Trek fans aren't going to be buying the Monster Times.
That would devalue it, yeah.
Oh, it was so. It just drove me. I just hated it, man. It was so bad. You'd go in there, and this woman, this Aunt B woman, would be singing music from Phantom of the Opera or Cats loudly. It was the
Star Trek
worst,
is the hardest stuff to sell.
huh?
You can't give Star Trek stuff away.
Well, yeah, well, that some of that Star Trek stuff you got, I would, yeah, I would, the ones you got with the phaser and the communicator, shit, I'd buy that from you
Oh, those,
if you.
yeah, I sold those. Those are always good.
Oh,
But
you already
anything else,
sold those. Thank
yeah,
goodness, because
anything else is impossible.
yeah, I don't want any. Who would want to buy something from the next generation? Well, I mean, I guess somebody would, but it's not my cup of tea.
Oh, I almost broke my battle cat.
I'm just getting a black screen. Is your phone down?
Yeah, I'm trying to move stuff with one arm.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just realizing that may not be very entertaining viewing a black screen. It's like the old days of radio, man. Yeah, I really think you need to be real careful, man. I'm not
No,
that
I'm
really.
being careful.
I just don't think it's the best time to be rearranging your house right after you possibly. What did they say that the people you talk to that you think you've done what to your arm?
Maybe
You
like torn or sprained a muscle or a ligament.
okay?
But I'm fine. I just don't use it. Don't use my arm.
Yeah.
I'm moving toys. I'm moving toys with one arm. That's easy.
Oh yeah. Well, that's easy. But
I'm not gonna lift any long boxes or anything. I don't even have
boy,
long boxes here.
my legs are really sore from all of this. What I did here. I'm up here again
Yeah,
looking for my. This is probably more inventory than some comic stores have that I've got up here.
I think
But I realize
you
I
definitely.
really have more magazines. Well, I don't know. I've got just as big a collection of magazines as I do um, comics. But because I've always loved Mad Magazine and Famous Monsters and other monster magazines, man, I'm looking for my cord to charge my phone. I thought I brought it up here. What are people saying here? Well, yeah, I, I could have sworn oh well, completely forgot about. But you have the Batman Treasury Edition pulled for me though, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that people are interested in, or is it selling?
No.
Why aren't people into this cool stuff, man? I don't understand people. Oh, and
No.
that was another thing I forgot to do is pick out a cover of the latest Geiger. Could maybe I could just trust your judgment. The one with the kids hiding under the desk, like they're on a nuclear bomb drill. Maybe you could just save that one for me. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Was there a better cover?
That one I used as a thumbnail looked pretty cool.
Oh, I need to. I haven't watched a damn thing. I don't. I have to go look at your thumbnail. Was it better than the one with the kids? That's the only one I saw. If
I
you
didn't
use
even
it as a
notice that.
if you used it as a thumbnail, then I probably need to get that. Is it a more expensive one?
No,
Yeah, then just does it have the go-go checks at the top? The one you used as a thumbnail?
I can't remember. It's done
Ah,
by the. It's
yeah.
done by one of our germ students.
Okay, yeah. Do you have more copies of that particular one?
Yeah, you might not like it though, because I usually like stuff that nobody likes.
I'll tell you what. I'll trust you on that. Pull that one for me, and then I'll look at your thumbnail because I haven't seen that video yet. And if it turns out I don't like it, I'll let you know.
So I had a video last week that went to, instead of being uploaded as a video, they uploaded it as a short because it was like they extended shorts from being a minute or under to being like 2 minutes plus.
Yeah. So
So so you have to go to shorts to view that last, not this week's but last week's.
oh, okay.
And
Well, all right.
nobody does that. Nobody goes over to the shorts area to look at videos, right?
Well, I don't normally. Honestly, I usually look at the live and the regular video sections, but I'm also
Yeah.
not the target demographic. I'm a I'm a I'm a pretty strange. I don't. I guess I didn't bring that up here, man.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to find the cord to charge my phone. Um, and I thought I brought it up here, but I don't know. Um, yeah, this is gonna look pretty good up here before too long. Um,
Yeah, I'm surprised how much you got done. That
Yeah,
room was like empty.
I had to get it done, and now, yeah, I had to do it. It was, um, all those people are jealous of me that I had comics spread everywhere. Now I've got them all in one place like everybody else. But
Well,
but it was all my own volition. I was
if you ever decide to move into the garage, that's going to be a big task.
moving where?
Down into the garage.
Oh, I'm not moving anything. No, no, the garage would be the end. That place, it's ultra humid, and no, man, I had some of my post frame posters in that garage before I moved them into the house. And when we moved, and just being out in the garage, the posters got wavy under the glass. Very humid. It can be very humid here at certain times of the year. And no, I don't understand how people use garages. I mean, I don't mean to scare people that keep their comics in the garage, and maybe their climate and their part of the country is completely different. But I don't think garages are the best place to store paper goods. But what do I know? I mean, it's like you got to do what you got to do if to keep spouses happy, I guess. But I just need to, yeah, man, yeah, yeah. I overspent yesterday, boy. I've been in the doghouse, man. It's been bad. I say this because I know she. Oh well, where is my goddamn cord? There's a little civil defense thing you can put on a door to make people think there's a bomb shelter there. This is what you would get sent by Robert Tilton. It's God's miracle plan for man. Uh, do you remember Robert Tilton? This guy.
Let me see.
This guy.
Yeah, yeah, he looks familiar.
He would speak in tongues. Basanda basota. I I know someone's watching named Tim, and you have a problem with your appendix, and send $500, and God
Yeah,
will
didn't
heal
he have
them.
like? Didn't he? If you send him money, he would send you some miracle water.
Yeah, he'd send you all kinds. He'd send you a prayer cloth. He'd send you all this stuff. His whole thing was prosperity doctrine. That if you sent him $200, you would get $400. Somehow it would come to you from God in some way, and but you'd write down what your request is, and he would pray over your request so that you would get that miracle you're wanting. Problem is, they were sending all the prayer requests unopened into a dumpster, and then this investigative reporter found all these unopened prayer requests sent to Robert Tilton, and that was kind of the beginning of the end of his ministry. I think he's down in Florida now, but he was real big in Dallas, all over the. We used to find him highly entertaining. His speaking in tongues was so hilarious. I still apparently, my wife says, do it in my sleep because I'll just go basanda basota. It was. Yeah, it was one of those things. Yeah, my friend had a fan club. I bet the T-shirt's over here. Um, my God, it's got to be here, man. Man, I got some shirts I should be wearing. Look at this creature from the Black Lagoon shirt. Why am I not wearing these shirts? Oh, here we go. It's the Robert Tilton. Let me lay this out. Scheiße. It's the Robert Tilton fan club. Uh, it needs to go.
Are those dollar signs all around him?
Dollar signs, yeah. That was my friend had a Robert Tilton fan club, and back in the, I guess that was the '90s. Yeah, the '90s. There was a lot of fun stuff I did in the '90s. It's just like when you ignore the fact that comic books were terrible in the 90s. There was a lot of fun stuff I was doing. Well, there were some horrible things happening now that I think about it in my life in the 90s too. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
To me, it was the longest decade.
Longest decade.
It
You were
seemed
in
like it
your
went.
were you in your 20s then, or early 20s maybe?
I mean, I was. Let me see.
Or were you still in high school?
I was like, in my. Yeah, it was like 11 to 21 or something.
Okay, yeah, I turned 30 in 1995, so
So I guess when you're 11 to 21, that's probably the longest.
yeah, all those years of high school, that does seem like that lasts a long time. Yeah, for me, that was the 70s and 80s. Those
I
ages,
mean, I felt like I was in school for decades.
right?
And now a decade goes by, and it's like I don't even know. I didn't even do anything.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly true. Oh, here it is. It was in the bedroom all along. Now the well, Alex Jones had his network taken away from him, and then the judge was so pissed he gave the network back to Alex Jones, so he was able to go back in and reclaim his studio. Did you know about all that?
I heard about it, but I just don't know how that works.
Well, they had an auction, but it was
Yeah,
a fake auction. They
I
already
know
knew
how it
who was
went
going to
down.
win it.
I know how it went down, but I don't understand how they were able to give it back and all that stuff so quickly.
Well, what they did is they awarded the auction winning to this what is now called the Onion. It's nothing to do with the old Onion. It's completely and apparently
Yeah.
David Wilcox people had put a bid in or tried to put a bid in too, and then if they had bought it, they would have had Alex Jones continue on, and some of Alex Jones's the people that work with him had put in a bid for $3 million to buy the studio and have Alex Jones continue, but they wanted the Onion to take over and do a parody network to fool stupid people into thinking this is still Alex Jones running it. And look what an idiot he is, and have nothing but anti gun commercials during it. But they didn't have the highest bid, but they gave it to them. And the judge said, no, it goes back. So, I mean, uh, let's see. Paulo, hey, still tidying up the comic room. Well, I got to tidy it up, but I pretty much finished it yesterday. And what I'm doing now is I just came on to talk about a friend of mine that I just found out passed away, and um, what else? And yeah, I don't know even why I'm on. Yeah, it's pretty much done. Yeah, it needs to be tidied up. Yeah, there's still stuff that needs to be done. But shit, what are you up to, Paulo? What did you do today? Are you okay?
Oh, that sound, that was the dog's food.
I thought it sounded like everything had collapsed on you. Man, that didn't sound good at all.
No,
Uh,
That's the dog's food.
Thank you, Zinc Age Comics. By the yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Sometimes I don't see all the comments, and if I don't see your comment and I don't read it, don't take anything personal by it. It's just that I don't. Hey, sometimes I can't. His dogs sound like the Three Stooges, man. It's so funny. Not much to catch you up on watching vids. What vids did you vidi today? Ugh. I've been watching 1965 Beatles cartoons, Space Coast Birdman, David Wilcock, all the important things. And then, and I imagine Alex Jones is probably on right now live. So I'll probably watch that here before too long. Um, um, so Wednesday, I get off early from work. So I might do a live stream Wednesday night because I'll have time to do that. I might do one probably Thursday because that's usually when my wife works. But they've been like she was working and they cut her shift early tonight, so there's no telling whether she'll be working. And anyway, Paula says Howler Mouse is back. Did two videos today. The second one ended 5 minutes ago. Oh, okay. I saw you had one earlier today with some kind of 1980s picture, like I don't know, some like Molly Ringwald or somebody on. But I don't know. What was he talking about in his videos? Hello. Uh, yeah, he contacted me and I think on Instagram and said, "Hey, you live not far from me," and actually had to explain I don't actually live there in Wythe County, but it's just it's kind of a fantasy kayfabe bullshitting thing. But he said he wanted to do a live stream with me sometime, and that would be great. Um, so if he's watching this, yeah, anytime, man. He did a video on Alan Davis. Alan Davis showed
Mark
Batman the
Farmer,
outs.
Alan Davis, the Marvel artist, Excalibur.
Oh, is he a British artist?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that. Well, oh, Excalibur. Yeah, I remember that. I've never read Excalibur. Is people say it's good? Is it good?
yeah. They did a sketch for me on a blank cover, and he dropped it on the floor when he was handing it to me, and then he used his foot to slide it over to his hand so he could pick it up off the floor.
You told me that story once, but I didn't know who it was. He
Yeah,
showed Batman and the Outsiders. That's a comic I never read, but it might be good, I guess.
I
And
just sold a whole run of those Outsiders yesterday.
wasn't there Batman and the Outsiders, and then there was a comic just called The Outsiders without Batman? I think I don't know. Excalibur, the movie, I guess. Miracle Man, yeah. Captain Britain and Justice League. Okay, he's. I don't know if he's probably is he talking about the Justice League with the silly, funny Seinfeld Justice League? Probably because the one I like is called Justice League of America. When it was called Justice League was when they were all funny, which I guess people tell me it's good, but I never really could take seriously those covers. And I didn't like that Green Lantern with the red hair and the mop top. I don't know. I never gave it a shot, so don't get mad at me. That was when I was getting sick of all these. Oh shit! Let's see what he's got there. Oh, look at that, man. That's not old, right? That's new. Yeah.
Yeah, reaction figures.
It-
See the two versions, the skinny one and the fat one.
yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. Um, what is that still available?
I think I have some at the store. Yeah,
You have something like that for sale?
yeah.
I didn't know
Nobody buys
that.
them.
Is it the skinny one or the fat one you have for sale?
I should have both. Look at this guy. He's Knife Hand Joe.
Knife hand show. Okay.
It's a
Well,
bootleg Freddy.
y-
Look at this.
yeah, I figured he's bootleg. Oh,
Look at
that's
this.
neat artwork. Is this the same company? Reaction.
No,
Look
this
at the.
came out. I think this came out in the 90s.
Oh,
Something
okay.
you get like a dollar store in the 90s.
Oh, wow. Well, why is there a skinny and a fat creature exactly?
They called one the male and one the female. The female was the skinnier one with it had she had wider hips, so they termed her the female. I don't know why they made two different ones.
That's insane. Okay, what do they sell for?
The original ones they're like thousands.
No, the ones you got for sale there.
Oh, these probably $20, I think.
Yeah, I might want to get one of those. Paula says, no, Alan Davis did an Elseworld with the JLA. Superman wasn't found by the Kent Senate. Okay. The funny JLA was by Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, and Kevin McGuire. Okay. I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't I just I'm not a comic fan really. I'm a fan of time periods in everything. I like the 1960s, like the 1950s. I like part of the 1970s, and that has to do with movies, comic books, monsters, toys. I like those time periods. So I like things that are made from those time periods, right down to lamps and furniture. So I'm more of a time period specific. God, Lee, these are great.
Next Sunday, I hope to find the two I'm missing.
I heard you talking to someone in the background at your store about the old man con. Didn't that just happen like 2 weeks ago, or has it been months?
No, it's been last. Was there one at the beginning of the summer? Maybe I think they do two a year. One in the summer, one in the winter.
Okay, so the last old man con, is that when you were getting really into the monster dark ride electronic toys? Was that a different convention?
Oh, those what are
When
those
you
things called?
I don't know. The thing you were buying up some of those things. You really
No, that was at
that's
a
what
toy convention. That was at a toy convention.
okay.
This remember I got these at a comic convention.
Yeah, man, those are great. What so
I
what
need
was it?
I need Wolfman and I need Phantom. No, I got Phantom. I need Wolfman and Creature.
Oh wow. When is this? This Saturday or next Saturday?
Next Sunday,
Sunday.
a week from today. But by this time
Oh,
it'll
okay.
be over. It's a daytime thing.
You can't live stream because you have one arm. So unless you and,
Unless I'm
and
better. But
yeah, I'm not going to ask you to do that unless you could somehow strap it to your chest. um, but I'd love to see it.
there's a Sam Keith page from Toxic Crusaders. Original art.
And that's from Marvel Comics saying "Eat Me" on the cover. Wow. I've never seen that actual comic book in my life.
You haven't?
Not that particular issue. Uh, Yeah, the phrase "eat me," I don't know that that's really appropriate, but then it's also based on there's a lot of things that aren't appropriate here. It's based on an R-rated movie that was turned into a Saturday morning cartoon and then into a comic book. It's all very strange how all of this happened. But in a toy line, all based on a pretty extreme R-rated movie. Uh,
It's a cool cover, I think.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the composition's kind of strange. It's like the picture's small compared to the big caption "Eat me." Yeah, it's good. Who's the artist on this?
Sam Keith.
Oh yeah, Sam Keith is good. Yeah, of course. Yeah, man.
I gotta shift off. I gotta put this stuff on this shelf, on this shelf. Just move everything to the left.
Oh,
That's a cool picture, huh?
yeah. Where did that image of the moon monster come from?
Oh, that's my mask. I took a picture of it in the black light.
Oh wow, is that mask still available?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Oh, okay. It's something that's like made on special request.
Uh huh.
So it wasn't mass produced. Okay.
But
Um, what are things that are coming? You say you're not buying anything more as far as stuff like masks for a while, but what are there things coming in the mail to you that you're expecting?
oh yeah, for my personal collection or for the store or both.
Either. What's due in interesting for your own collection and for the store?
My own collection, I have 7 masks ordered.
Oh wow.
They're not going to all be at once. It's kind of spread out.
And a couple of the masks were made by the guy that grew up in the town I'm living in.
Yep.
So we're hoping we can befriend this guy and get him on as a guest. And shoot, he could come and be a guest in this house. He just only would live in like an hour away. So if we can befriend that guy, that'd be cool. Joe Riley, my friend that did the hypnotic eye, made incredible masks. I've never really talked to you about that, but there's a video online that shows a mask he made. Let me see if I can't find that. Um, he made a Planet of the Apes mask. He made a mask of I think a slee stack. He was always making masks. Oh, but that's the thing is Joe Riley had a video collection, his videotape collection. When he passed away, it wound up in the hands of my friend Mark Ridlin, and now Mark Ridlin's passed away. Mark Ridlin had a huge videotape collection with unbelievably rare stuff. I used to borrow tapes from him and record it. And now that he's passed away, that means Joe Riley's and Mark Ridlin's stuff is going to be hopefully dispersed to someone that will be a good curator. Hopefully, it won't wind up in a dumpster because it's so much videotape that it would overwhelm anybody that might inherit it. Um, so that's one thing I was thinking about is what's going to happen to all of that. Yeah, there's some video up that where some guy's showing like a Frankenstein mask that he got from that was sculpted by Joe Riley before he passed away. Let me see if I can't find it.
It's on YouTube, this video.
Yeah, I think so. Um,
Yeah, you never told me that he made masks.
yeah, it's just yeah, he made masks for Well, I know he.
I've always had masks, but it was never like a main focus of mine.
Oh yeah, he has videos up on YouTube that someone must have put up where he's it shows him making masks. Hold on. This is Joe Riley, the guy from the Hypnotic Eye. He's making a gorilla mask here. Yeah, this is from old VHS. This would have. So it's apparently someone named Gaston Huckabee has these videos up. I don't know if that's who that is. Let me see here. Gaston
Do you have any of
Huckabee.
his masks, or you don't have any of
I
his?
don't have any of his masks. No, I have a model kit he made, but
Did he sell them when he made them, or did he keep them?
well, he may have sold some. Yeah, I don't really remember. These are long videos. Anyway, this guy named Gaston um, Huckabee, Huckabay, has garage mask making. They were put up 12 years ago. He That's after he died because he died when MySpace was still around. So that was a while back. Looks like it's mainly about how he made these Planet of the Apes masks. But if I keep looking, I I swear somebody had a Frankenstein mask by him. Um, um, yeah. Yeah, it's a shame he didn't he was I don't know, he was a bigger than life guy. He was real tall, had long hair. He was, overweight, but it was more like kind of like Alex Jones kind of overweight, where it was looked like a real strong guy. Oh, here it is. Joe Riley, Glenn Strange, Frankenstein, 2012. Um, this this was a mask made in 2012, and this guy here looks like a mask collector, and he's showing that he's apparently gotten it from. Here it is. He's saying they only made 10 of these. He only made 10. See that? Now, Joe Riley made a Munster's Herman Munster bust that was it was about, I don't know, as tall as my hand. And oh my gosh, this guy's kid was his kids are screaming and he screams.
Dang, he's yelling at him like that.
He's yelling at his kids on the video.
He's cussing at him.
He's saying, "Don't have kids." Anyway, this video, if you want to find it, it's Ryan's Monster Unveiling. So he has a whole channel. Let's see if he still does videos today.
I want to watch that.
This is his channel, Ryan's Monster Unveiling. This is the channel, and It looks like he has. That's the last video he put up 6 years ago, and then so maybe he got in trouble with his wife after yelling at his kids like that on YouTube, and he never put up another video, or maybe he was put in prison. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah. Wonder how many subscribers he has. Let's see. Just curious. This video has. Yeah, it's cool to find little traces of your friend, my friend from a long time ago on uh, on YouTube. Um,
Does he say that he bought that straight from him, or did he bought it somewhere
no,
else?
because he was no, he wasn't. I
He'd already
Well,
passed
I don't
away.
know. No, he bought this video was from 12 years ago. He bought it from probably eBay or something. I don't know. I don't really remember. It's been a long time since I watched the video. He has 366 subscribers. Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, I guess anyway. He made this Herman Munster bust, right? And it he used thumbtacks, painted thumbtacks for the bolts. So that's if that gives you a sense of scale, how big the bolts were in Herman Munster, and it looked really great. But it started to sweat, and it produced this horrible smell that was probably lethal. I don't know if there was something, he had it painted and everything. It was a latex bust. And I don't know what was seeping out of that or what was the smell was, but um, I gave it to someone, and I don't know if it still exists or if it was destroyed in a hurricane or a flood, but I, I feel bad. I don't still have it in my collection, but I also, know that that was probably not healthy to have that smell. I think he'd done something wrong because it wasn't supposed to smell like that.
Those
Apologies. Oh, yeah, I already read that.
those gorilla hands or those Bigfoot hands I got, they smell really bad.
Yeah.
I put them in the sink and I put soapy water in there and let them soak for a couple days.
Did it help?
Well, I'll find out when I go back.
Yeah. I should do a show where I just show everything Joe Riley did here, and um, he
You have it in one
sculpted.
spot, or it's spread out everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of spread out. He did this. He sculpted this model kit of the Slee Stack, and he painted this. This is kind of like his prototype, and for all I know, it's the only surviving copy, possibly. So
Pretty good.
he was outstanding. I have, artwork by him that was in the magazine I used to do, the Sophisticate and everything, and of course you can see. Everyone can see the hypnotic eye, which is his most famous thing that he did. He also he sculpted for the Subgenius recruiting videos. He sculpted. There was a commercial. He sculpted a realistic smiling face, like of a human being had the face of a smiley face. He sculpted that disturbing looking mask for that, and oh, and he sculpted a J.R. Bob Dobbs mask too, is for Ivan Stang of the Church of Subgenius. Uh, yeah, it looks like this mask was sent to him with one of those wig heads in it. See, one of those styrofoam wig heads. Anyway, so
Oh, I forgot about
well,
these.
This was number 9.
Here's the box to those figures I was showing you last time.
But this thing's absolutely massive. Oh, look at that.
Remember I was showing you guys the one thing that looked like basket case?
Yeah.
These are the boxes they come in.
Really want to get the styrofoam out of this. That's just going to go ahead and fuck the latex up.
Oh, there's the one in the middle right there.
Yeah, that's cool. He's saying he really wants to get the styrofoam head out because it's going to mess up the latex. I don't think people realize that
Oh,
happens.
nobody knows that. I tell people that all the time because they don't know about it.
Motherfucker, dude. Gotta lie. It's a depth studio size quality here. Hey, I'm doing a video. I really need you to give me some respect.
Is this the same
Yeah,
video?
yeah, it's a pretty good video. No. Oh boy. I don't know how you can afford to be a mask collector and have several kids.
They would
Uh,
tear them apart. They'd be wearing them, tearing them
well,
apart.
it's that, but also how do you afford it? I mean, unless that guy's making some good money, it's possible. Maybe he's like a truck driver or something.
Oh, like anything, 10 years ago, stuff was a lot cheaper.
Well, true. Yeah.
Look at this. KB toy stores, they had to mark it down to $2.
Yeah, I remember KB's.
Even back then, I
Wonder
mean,
when they
people weren't buying cool stuff like this.
are there any toy chains still left? Or are they all gone?
I think
I
they're
remember
gone except for online.
there was Toys R Us, KB. There was a store called Circus World. Um, who else was there? Um,
Ow. Like a 40-inch long snake drawstring carry bag.
oh, who is this wrestler?
Oh, Jake the Snake.
Yes, I don't
But
know
you,
much about wrestling.
yeah, but you would, even if you didn't, you would buy a rubber snake, right?
Yeah, he looks a little like G. Gordon Liddy, the wrestler.
Yeah, he used to come out with the snake and put it on the person. And then one time he had one and it bit the Macho Man. And it actually made him bleed. Yeah, people didn't trust him. I'm like, what? Because you'd use different snakes, and they were like, "Is this one poisonous? That he's gonna have have it bite me, and it's a poisonous snake?" Yeah, that's right. You never were into wrestling, huh? You there? Like, Did I show you guys this last time? We were talking about it. I don't know if I showed it to you though. We're talking about Munsters figures. I forget who had one. Somebody was showing one. Maybe it was Meyer. Was it you that had a Munsters figure? Was it Diamond Select one?
I don't have those. I don't have that figure.
Yeah, it's Diamond Select. I think it was Meyer was showing his.
Could be.
Somebody.
Yeah, I don't.
This is the best one. Look at it. Look at it. It comes with all this. Look at this.
Yeah. Oh,
His
yeah, that's
ball.
good. Oh,
Yeah, they would never make something like this. Basically getting 3 figures plus a giant accessory here.
yeah.
Trump will be back in office now, and it's your turn to celebrate. Claim your exclusive Trump mystery box pack with patriotic gear before it's.
Trump has won this year's presidential election, and to celebrate and show our excitement. Oh, what up?
What is that from Big Trouble in Little China?
No, it's from Weird Science.
Yeah, I saw that movie when it came out, but I don't remember it very well.
Yeah, it was. Is it Bill Paxton? I think he gets turned into this toad thing.
I just remember, I think it was the woman that was in The Lady in Red, the one that had the Stevie Wonder theme song. I think that woman was in that. And I don't think she ever did anything else with her career after that. But I know. What do I know?
Thing that you ever held dear. Literally talking about Senator Tammy Duckworth could argue against cuts to the Department of Veterans Affairs that would delay the benefits and care our service members have so rightly earned. If Trump hands over the EPA to big oil ally Lee Zeldin, we can
I'll
see
show you this.
Caster working back for environmental protection and conservation.
What is that?
Oh, my phone's
Charged
dying.
up.
I'll come back. I gotta charge it up. I'll
Okay.
be back.
Okay.
Could step in as Shadow Secretary of Health and Human Services to defend women's right to choose and argue against the gutting of
Yeah.
by Trump and his cronies. Mr. Speaker, new times require new solutions.
Ugh.
It isn't just about opposing extreme MAGA attacks on our government. It's also about making clear what we stand for, not just what we're against.
That's normalizing shadow government, actually giving themselves government titles, having a fake auction, lending to the Democrats.
Yeah. Well.
Wars, was it true or not?
It's like impossible to like really comprehend just how. There's only no words for it. Like it's beyond.
What David Wilcock was saying today is that things have gone a lot smoother than everyone had predicted. Everyone predicted things were going to go real bad after the election, and now it looks like he was thinking things aren't going to be bad until January 20th, and that's when things are going to go bad as far as people flipping out. Matthew Lealoha says hello. Remember Howard the Duck, 1986? Yes, I remember that. Was that 86? Yeah, I guess it was.
and usurp the power.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the theater.
And deny the American people our ability to choose our future.
I even got a pre-release movie poster with an egg hatching.
And because he wants to
And because I was such a fan of the comic book, and then the movie, I thought the suit looked terrible. The Howard the Duck suit, it didn't look right.
Deliberate and
Um,
exasperating way, literally talking about
oh, well.
the Democratic vote by imposing their rule on an unwilling populace. It is literal tyranny right in front of us, and they feel like they're the good guys.
Absolutely. Well said, my.
I guess that was the first Marvel theatrical movie. I mean, before there were cartoons, there were TV shows. Now, the TV shows were released theatrically in Europe and other places, like that terrible Spider-Man TV series from 1978. They take a couple episodes and release it as a movie in other countries. I think they did that with the Hulk, maybe.
Sunday night, myself and Chase Guys will
But
4 to 8 p.m. Pray for us. I'm going to air myself on Glenn Beck this morning before it came out. Look how accurate this is now.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's about 10 minutes long, and then we're going to have Chase.
I remember it. Yes.
And then this amazing crew gets some sleep. And in case something.
Man, I've been half asleep all day long.
And so we're going to
let me put the link again here in case he's going to want to come back in. I'm not going to keep going too much longer. Unless someone comes on and there's something interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you want to come on, I'll talk with you for a little bit.
Thank you, and thank you to the InfoWars audience. It's all
this is the link to come in.
Support and love that I've experienced over the last few days is totally overwhelming. I can't even express.
So the major news is that it looks like they're trying to provoke Russia into World War III so that Trump will have difficulty coming in and stopping the war. They're trying to send as much money to the Ukraine as they can before Trump comes in. And a good friend of mine from Dallas, musician and DJ, passed away. Just recapping the episode. I think I've finished moving all my comics and magazines up to the attic. So I have a comic book floor now. And Christmas is coming. That's a good thing. I am freed up because I was recording all the Trump rallies. Now Trump's not having rallies, so I was able to watch some Beatles cartoons today and record some music from YouTube. I forgot yesterday we were talking about Australian bands. I completely forgot there's a great band called Amyl, AMYL, Amyl and the Sniffers. And it's like this girl singer, and it's just great music. It's great. We talked about the Wrecking Crew earlier. There were a group of studio musicians in LA that just about everything I love from the music from the 60s, from TV commercials to TV show themes to a lot of great records like the Sugar Shack by Jerry Gilmer and the Fireballs. That's the Wrecking Crew performing on that. Yeah, I disagree with Zork about them being on Beatles and Rolling Stones records. I don't believe they do help out. They did help out Brian Wilson on the Beach Boys records because he wanted to get super fancy with things like like Good Vibrations. You know, he definitely used them on that. Brian Wilson is a genius. Brian Wilson is a complete genius. And boy, he's getting up there in age. That's going to be a sad one, man, when he passes away. We still have two Beatles left, and Rolling Stones just seem to be immortal. But that one thing is true. The image in the 60s was that the Rolling Stones were these hooligans. They were crass, vile, uh, just horrible people. And the Beatles were more clean, even though they had long hair. They were more kind of kid friendly and nice guys. Apparently, this work was mentioning the complete opposite. In reality, the Rolling Stones were very gentlemanly and very well spoken and nice, and the Beatles were really rough and crude. It's the a complete opposite of the way they were they were sold to the public. Um, yeah, Mick Jagger was like an art school guy. Well, so was John Lennon, but they just came from different walks of life. Who would have thought Keith Richards, man? He survived everybody. Willie Nelson, it's amazing. That guy's 160 years old now. Oh. Murray put out 2 months ago for the auction that November 8th was the last day to have your first initial bid in, and then it would be online with the big auction company, and people could bid up. That's the definition of an auction is sold the highest bidder. Well, so then they have this. Today is National Homemade Bread Day. It's somebody's birthday today. Who was I was going to mention it? Oh, there's a band from Russia called Messer Chups, Messer, and then Chups, Chups. Look them up if you don't know them. The girl singer of that band is, man, I don't know how to pronounce her. It's a Russian name. It's like Vladimir Zambarella. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't know her name, but they're good. They're really good, and it's her birthday. Yeah, I forget about Measured Chups. They're real good, and they have like 40 million albums out. There is a difference between restoration and retribution. Today is Danny DeVito's birthday. Really, we're not going after retribution, but restoration. How about that? Then that fine that you got, then you had to pay the families was to restore them. They can't suddenly say, well, we'll get this money from Alex. Well, while we take away his business, and my wife's on the phone with her brother upstairs. I hear that, so otherwise I need to get off the phone, off the whatever this is, the internet, real quick because I want to hang out with her. This is clearly about retribution. Farid Radonsic. Oh, I don't know Farid Radonsic. Where are you at, Farid Radonsic? Are you in the United States? Hello there, Kevin.
Hey, my phone died.
Yeah, mine died a minute ago too. We're getting feedback.
You get feedback from me?
Well, I'm hearing like echo. You might have YouTube open on something else. Doug Walker's birthday. Is Doug Walker from Fast and Furious? I don't know who that is.
Did that take care of it? Did that fix it? Did that fix it?
No.
I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay. He's from Nostalgia Critic. Is that a cartoon? Wasn't that a cartoon about a critic? I don't know anything, man.
The Trump one, we are cleaning out the DOJ.
Well, it's always good. You know, we got to remember the Donald Trump one, and so things are going to get better. They're talking about doing away with the IRS and not taxing Social Security, not taxing tips, not taxing overtime. I don't know how people will. Someone's coming in. Who could it be? Kevin.
It is clear.
Hello.
This is cruel and unusual punishment.
You hear me?
Yeah, there's no feedback now.
And an excessive fine, and it's all based on freedom of speech. This is not
is that what he's talking about?
I just heard you say it's a cartoon about the critic or something.
Well, I know, but he's saying it's Doug Walker's birthday. He's from Nostalgia Critic. I don't know what Nostalgia Critic is. He says actually it's about movies. Okay, it must be some TV show or online show about movies. It's probably interesting. I just never heard of it. Is it on YouTube?
When the calls, the emails come through to my lawyers that you didn't get your IP, you didn't get your equipment, you didn't get everything, nothing. And then Chris Murray, the
Let's see what facsimile come up next week.
What?
I'm
I'm gonna see what facsimiles come out next week.
Oh, there's more facsimiles coming?
Think so. Hold on.
Can you pull it up on your computer?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay. Damn. Did I get that war book?
The hardcover?
Yeah.
No.
I don't even remember what I got. It'll be like it'll be a surprise. I got to get that next time. That looked really cool. There's what I'm talking about for those of you that don't know. There have been 4 books released by what is it, Fantagraphics, that reprint the early '50s Marvel, which Marvel was called Atlas back then. First one reprinted horror books. Second one reprinted Venus. Third one reprinted science fiction stories, and the fourth one that just came out is a war comic book, and they're all great. It says that's his YouTube channel. Okay, and his name is. Oh, okay. Is that out like in the next week? Shutter.
That's next week's Shutter.
Okay.
Let me see. There's a few other things.
They do a great job making it look like creepy and eerie, I have to say. I mean, that really is authentic looking.
Mad Monsters Magazine by PS Art Books.
Oh, is that a facsimile?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
AlexJones.network, and of course on X
Damn.
at Real Alex Jones. Ladies and gentlemen,
See it all. I think there's one or two more things.
Wrapping up this broadcast on this historic day, we are back in the InfoWars studio, and it has been absolutely 100% the craziest 48 hours of my life. I didn't get any sleep last night, so I apologize if I am slurring.
That's one of the best things about today is there are these facsimiles, I think.
So excited.
Oh, look at that. Okay, that's one of those.
I was thinking about what
Soft cover, trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
I've seen, because frankly,
How much is that book?
TV shows that I've seen are the closest thing I've ever experienced to what I actually
184 pages. It's $32.
last night when we were broadcasting on the Alex Jones Network, I likened our experience here to Wolf of Wall Street. We have a promo that we've been running. I'm not leaving. Meant to inspire. That resonates for sure. There's this.
That was it.
I'm going to show you because this 60-second.
Is there anything else coming out? Toy wise, action figure wise, model kit wise?
Myself, of course, but I think I can speak for the crew. I think they'll see what I mean when they watch this clip. And the reason I want to show this is
And you're sold out of shock monsters. Are you going to get a new shipment if anyone wants one?
we can't change.
Yeah, I think I can still order them. Yeah.
But we can.
So anyone wants a shock monster mask? There was I had an episode where he
what it means to be.
Missing Mars wants to know how much that Mad Monsters is going to be.
That's out of your control. Some people buckle; they become afraid.
The Mad Monsters magazine reprint is, hold on. It is $22.99.
Is that like the one before where it's smaller, a little smaller than an actual magazine size, more like a comic size?
It says it's 68 pages,
Yeah.
and it's hold on,
Oh, we're going back to the InfoWars studio. Okay, let's
it's
broadcast.
8 inches high,
Oh, we can't broadcast.
14 inches wide.
Alex Jones Network studio.
Oh wait, I don't know if that's right.
Oh, they're shutting this down. Oh, they're trying to silence this. Oh, they're going to file this.
Oh, that's the case dimension. Never mind.
We can't close this deal. We're not allowed to do this.
Is that a Mad Monsters is the Charlton one, right?
Whatever. I'm so callous to
Yes,
it.
Charleston.
Didn't they release one about a month ago? Is this the next issue of it?
In the United States of America, at least until
It says this issue, number 6, from fall of '63.
this cacophony.
Okay.
This astronomical asinine amount of just
How many are you getting?
It says number 1, but it's actually number 6.
disregard for the rights of the American people.
That sounds like Charlton. What is? How many are you getting of that?
Basically, all of the Bill of Rights.
I'm getting 2.
Punishment, right to assemble.
Religion. Are you keeping one for yourself, or?
I've never seen what it looks like.
Hell, even quartering the migrants that have been allowed in this country.
Wasn't that a Mad Monsters that came out? Let me see. I think it's still over here on the pinball machine.
Business with Tom Cruise from the 80s, that movie. Sometimes I just say, what the hell?
Did I take it upstairs? I might have.
I'm not gonna let this get to me. I'm not gonna yield to this. I'm just gonna go into the most dangerous racing situation possible.
No, I'm thinking of horror monsters. Is that a PS art book? The Mad Monsters.
Yeah.
See this. This is. Let me see. I don't have any comic books here. I'll put it up. See, I have it next to a copy of Toy Fair, which is the dimensions of a comic book, and it's the same size. So it's probably what's going on with that. Yeah. Yeah,
Hold on, dude.
I'd like you to save a copy of that Mad Monsters for me too, if you could. Well, another work week begins tomorrow, but we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and I'll have a few days off for that.
Oftentimes, since I started working here, first of all, of course, the famous boxing scene where.
And we've got Christmas to look forward to, and we've got Inauguration Day to look forward to. Boy, that's going to be great. January 20th. Does anyone have access to a calendar and could tell me when inauguration day, is that going to be on a weekend, or
Sometimes nothing can be a real.
because I would want to. Is that going to be on a work day?
When they take everything from you, when they sue you for $1.5 billion, when they threaten to shut.
Do you have a
Hang
calendar,
on.
Kevin, somewhere in
Yeah,
your?
on the computer, I have one right here. You want to know what January 20th is?
I think January 20th is inauguration day. I'm just curious whether I'll be working on that day.
January 20th is going to be
I'm proud to work here.
Monday.
Oh shit. Well, I mean, I guess I can watch it on a replay. I just wanted to see Trump get inaugurated. It turns out they say that Melania is not going to live in the White House. She's going to live, I guess, where Barron is going to college. So people are speculating that that means they're having trouble in their marriage, but I don't know that that's true. I think it's more.
I thought the
Uh,
same thing happened his last term. They did the same thing.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, really, the White
Remember,
House is. I hate to say it, but the White House is kind of slumming it if you're used to living in Mar-a-Lago, where the stairs are made out of gold. I mean, literally, it's like the White House is not as impressive. And
oh,
you've got that.
they're gonna be spying on him if he's in there.
Yeah, and also, it's probably safer for her and her son if they, it's just,
You don't want to be in there. I don't know, they found cocaine in there. It's a drug house.
yeah, well, I don't, Trump is not, I don't think he would
Remember
surround himself with those type
they
of
were like
people.
stealing the silverware out of there even.
Oh, the Clintons were, yeah. They were trying to steal silverware. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. That was something. Imagine if Trump had tried to do that. The scandal that would have ensued. Well, my goodness gracious. Okay, what are these humans saying here? Sunday. Oh, and then he says, correction, the inauguration of Donald Trump as the 47th President of the United States is scheduled to take place on Monday, January 20th, 2025. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess the reason I was able to watch that fake Biden inauguration, and it was because I was retired at the time, and I wasn't. But then I quickly became unretired when the last presidency made it where it was impossible to be retired. Um, but I remember, yeah, it would be you would see one of Biden's daughters or something was wearing a certain dress, and then they'd cut back and she'd have a different dress on. It was obviously not really live. It was pre-staged, and they had done it in two different sessions where you could tell people looked different. And then Lady Gaga sang a song, and she was dressed in an exact replica of the clothing that the bad guys wore in the Hunger Games. It was all just a weird thing. And then Biden went down the road, and all these soldiers had their back turned to him. It was very surreal and weird. I remember, um, but I remember watching that live. But I guess I'm going to have to watch Trump's inauguration on the replay later on Monday the 20th. They really should have, they should have businesses closed on voting day, and they should have businesses closed on inauguration day, I believe. But that's if I ran things, which I don't.
And broadcast to whoever would be willing to listen how they perceive things to be true.
Well, man, I need to go see what's going on with my wife. She hasn't been feeling good, and I'll probably gonna end the stream.
Yeah, I'll jump on Wednesday or Thursday whenever you go on next.
Yeah. I wonder how Meyer's doing. He hasn't been on lately. He's probably pretty busy. Maybe I'll give him a call sometime, see what he's up to. Anyway, guys, I'll be seeing you guys, and I thank you all for showing up and missing Mars and everyone else that's been here, Zork and Kevin from Gotham City. Call Kevin up. He You can call him at his store, and if someone calls your store, does it ring at your house when you're closed or not?
No, no, but
Well,
they
call
can leave
him.
a message. They can leave a
Yeah,
message if they want.
yeah, or just call on Tuesday through Saturday at this number here, and you can special request monster stuff. And I didn't know you had a creature from the Black Lagoon. That's pretty cool looking. That thing. It looks pretty authentic, like something right out of the '70s. But yeah, call him up. If you want to order something, and he's got a whole bunch of Monster High dolls. If you've got a wife or a daughter that collects those things, he's got a bunch of first generation. He's got almost 100. You had over 100. He sold 5. Maybe it's still over 100 that he has there on consignment. So if you want actual unopened Monster High dolls, then he's got a zillion of them. I did a live stream last week where he shows them all. You can watch that stream. It's about an hour into the show. He comes on and shows all of them. So if you want to do that and get some, go do some early Christmas shopping, call him up. Anyway, guys, we'll be seeing you guys soon. Take care, everybody.
See
Bye.
you guys.